Well, hello again. I am Herr Kelly, a missionary to Pennsylvania, working at the Foundry Church. And today I have a special treat. Decided to do something different. This is my second video newsletter. So I have with me Bettina Burns, who is one of my former students. She is my first intern, and she is a graduate of Widener University. And I thought it'd be a good idea to bring her here and have an interview about what she's done and where she is now. So hi, tell them a little bit about yourself. These are all my supporters across the United States.
Oh,
well, mostly in South Carolina.
Well, currently I am working as a nurse in Morgantown, West Virginia. I did graduate from the School of Nursing in 2014. I moved there about a year and a half ago, and that's me at the moment, but I'm sure we're going to talk more about the college years.
We're going to tell them all about who you are, what you did, and where you came from. I have a little bit, some notes, if I didn't doodle on them too much. Bettina was actually one of the core reasons and core supports of doing the Logos student ministries at Widener University. I'm going to say I couldn't do what I did at Widener without her. So God sent her to me at the right time, at the right place, and we're going to find out why she came according to her story, because I could tell you mine, but I want her to tell her story. So Bettina, we'll start with the simple question. How did you get involved with the Foundry Church and Logos?
I did lots of missions trips in high school. I did go to a private Christian school. And then when I was looking into, okay, what comes after this? You know, what is my life to be about? Definitely a strong heart for missions, a strong heart for the lost, a lot of compassion there. So that sort of geared me towards my decision to go into nursing, just because, you know, I didn't have a strong calling to, you know, go to this part of the world, serve this people group. And, you know, nursing, you can go anywhere and do nursing any place and still touch the lives of people, no matter what setting or what part of the world you're in. So I looked into different schools for nursing, and just from my family situation, going close to home was best. Widener was very civically engaged in the community in general, so and I knew that would be a good place for me. One of the other draws towards Widener was they had an ROTC program, which I was going to use to pay for school, do education, do some additional service in that way. So that's sort of how I came to Widener. And then part of the reason also for choosing a secular college was that, you know, I'd grown up in the social norms of Christianity. You know, this is what is expected of you, and I felt the need to kind of move out of that in a way to, you know, see, okay, how much of this is actually real to me? How much of this is what I've chosen for myself? How much of this is what I've inherited from my parents? How much of this is just, okay, this is the expectation, let's please the people and do...
The high school you went to was the Christian Academy.
Yes.
Okay.
So that was one of the other draws towards moving to a secular college in terms of looking for schools. You know, being able to be around people that are what they say. If they were a Christian, they were a Christian. If they weren't, they weren't. It wasn't a pressure of, you're at a Christian school, you gotta have to kind of put on these values. So I kind of desired clarity in that sense of being able to find other Christians that were serious about their faith and learn how to live that out. So in that, right away when I started school, I'm like, okay, I need to get plugged in here. I need to find the other people on campus. So the first month or so, I kind of looked around. There was an involvement fair. I had friends from ROTC. One friend, I went to a couple of the crew meetings with him, but after like the first month or so, they just kind of weren't really there anymore. But that's how I originally got introduced to hair. Yeah. My parents knew some of the Foundry members and leadership from years past, and there was just a little bit of history there. So
A little bit. I've heard stories from Chuck.
Yeah. So, it was familiar. It was really after about a month of like really looking into, okay, who's here? How can I get connected? How can I, find my place here on campus as far as spiritual life is concerned? Really, Hare and the Foundry were the only presence that I could see that was starting to become established and be serious.
So there's something happened to you your freshman year?
Yeah.
Your freshman year that changed the course that you were originally going for. You were going for ROTC and something happened there, and we were able to help you out, so to speak, and help each other out. So tell us that story. I want to hear it.
Throughout my fall and the beginning of my spring semester, there was just a lot of extra testing, extra pushing. I wound up being disqualified from being commissioned with the Army due to medical reasons. And I finally got that final word of, okay, this is not going to happen for you. I think it was March, on my birthday actually. So March of my freshman year, I found out, okay, this plan that I had is not going to work out. And that turned everything on its head, just because of figuring out, okay, how are we going to pay for school now? Is this truly where God wants me to be? What's going to happen? And so after hearing about, what happened and how things were going, Chuck approached me with, how would you feel about signing on as being a semester missionary? And I thought about it, and, really it came down to the heart of, okay, whether I'm going to be in school or not, I've chosen to make my life about ministry, and if I'm still here as a student, that's great, but if not, this is still a community that I could minister to and work in. And the
semester missionary program, what did that give you?
They gave me a monthly stipend, helped take care of a lot of the daily bills of things. But it also gave me a platform. It gave me a lot of support. It gave me a lot of mentorship. It gave me a network sort of larger than myself that helped me feel a little less shy, a little less of, okay, I have to do this all on my own. So it felt really nice having that extra community. There were other ministers from other campuses all across Pennsylvania. And even in the North American Mission Board organization, there's, international opportunities, short-term opportunities, long-term opportunities, and so it was great to see those things and to feel like I had a connection to those things.
The semester missionary program has changed over the years, but it's still effective. It allows students to serve while they're in school. It's great. And believe me, she came in and she did a lot of stuff for Logos and helps us get Logos off the ground pretty much. Mm-hmm. So speaking of Logos, well, in your opinion, what is Logos? And what do you think your greatest accomplishment through Logos has been?
As far as my role within it,
and what was your role in Logos? Yeah. I guess.
We took an unofficial regular meeting for students and created a student organization through the university with it. And different things that became important with becoming a recognized organization on campus was we had access to meeting space. We were able to access some of the student programming funds to help do more on campus and for the students. And then also just it showed that the university was committed to spiritual life on campus. So having a recognized organization, I think, gave us the statement of, yes, we are welcomed here. Yes, we can interact with the students without having to be afraid of, okay, what is the university going to think about this? And President Harris, in general, was very committed to taking care of the students in any way that he could. And I think he when we approached the board for, student organizations, he reached out to me and mentioned that he was glad that we were doing this. And then I think through our organization also other religious student groups sprung up and became officially recognized. And but aside from that, I think we did a lot in terms of reaching out to other student groups. We worked a lot with the LGBT community and the LGBT group. We worked with the Black Student Union on several things. And just getting out the word that, Christianity is not all about, like, these are our rules, or, these are our standpoints, and we've got no compassion for people. It was very much about learning how to interact with other students from other backgrounds and other belief systems, and being able to share with them, like, this is what we believe, and we truly love people and want to help take care of people. And so I think in several big ways we were able to do that through programming that we worked on with others.
A little personal, what's the fondest memory of your time at Logos, with Logos?
Honestly, the meeting space, the old meeting space. There used to be a building on Walnut.
Yeah, 17th.
Yeah, 17th and Walnut. It was just a small, tiny little office, but that's where, in the beginning years, the interfaith office was. There was the interfaith coordinator, Dawn. Autumn Day.
Yeah.
Autumn Day Miller. So we got to interact with her a lot, and I appreciated that time in that space very much. I think our No Talent show with the LGBT was wonderful. And then I think also a lot of the meetings we had towards the end, like with the Black Student Union on race, and just some of our programming where we did get to really interact in a big way with the student communities was some of my favorites.
This is a question I like to ask all my interns, or I should ask all my interns, and you should ask all your interns. What did you learn about through this? And I will categorize this in 3 places. What did you learn about yourself? What did you learn about God? And what did you learn about ministry with your time with us at Logos and the Foundry Church?
I think some of the things I learned initially in a big way was, God's faithfulness. His plans for us are bigger than what we can do and accomplish. Every semester going through school, it was always the question of, how are we going to pay for this? How is this going to keep going? And God always provided for that, and always provided me with time and the ability to continue to do the ministry and the work that was related to Logos and keeping that going. So, God's provision and faithfulness, I definitely learned in a big, huge way. And that definitely has impacted me greatly in that it's allowed me to be able to step out and move to West Virginia. When I got the job offer at the hospital there, like, I knew nobody, and it took a lot of being able to trust God to take care of me and saying, like, yes, I'm going to go to Morgantown, West Virginia, and set up a life and learn how to minister to people there. So definitely having that opportunity was big for me. For learning about myself, I learned that I wasn't as good as I thought I was. Always learning that more and more. Just sort of that concept of the more you learn how bad you really are, the more you see how great and good God is, and how great His love truly is for you. I think definitely, during my college years is when I did get that opportunity to grasp, this is what I believe. These are things I've said I believe for a large portion of my life. Do I actually believe them, or do I just say I do? Getting opportunities to work that out to learn those things, you know, in my heart, not just in my head. There's a saying that what the first generation fights for, the second generation inherits, and the third generation loses. And I think having the college ministry that you came to Widener to give allowed me that opportunity to move from that position of I'm a second generation that's inherited these things from my parents to that first generation of I've worked through these things, I've fought through these things, and I've made these things my own, and I've made this relationship with God my own. And then as far as ministry, you know, I had this large, ethereal, out there construct of, like, you've got to go to third world